Welcome to For Mannerless Women. I am your host, Adelle Onyango, and this is a space that is committed to nurturing a new generation of shame-free women who are ready to meet their best selves. Thank you so much for being part of this community and for watching and sharing season 1. Kicking off this brand new season is Felgonah Oyugi. She's a 4-time published author and has written numerous articles in notable Kenyan newspapers. And she boldly speaks about being 31 years old, getting divorced, and at the time having 4 children, all under the age of 8. So first and foremost, thank you so much for nominating yourself.
Yes.
When you saw us post that we wanted to hear from more mannerless women who want to be on the show.
Yes.
And just reading up your story was in the short bit you wrote, I was like, this is so intriguing, right? Thank you for coming onto the show.
Asante sana.
So let's take it to 15 years ago so everybody can be on the same page when it comes to your story.
Yes.
You are 30 years old at the time?
50 years ago.
15, yeah.
15, sorry. I was 31.
31.
I was turning 31.
Okay.
I have 4 kids.
Okay.
The first one was 8. Then my second was maybe 5. Then, not even, maybe 5 or turning 5 that year. My third was turning 2. And my baby was 5 months.
5 months?
5 months.
Okay, and then you make a serious, intentional, and great decision.
Yes.
To do what?
To leave my marriage. I'd gone through it, and I was so clear that that wasn't life. That wasn't my plan for my life. My parents had just passed on, so I'd lost both my parents in a span of maybe 5 years. And, life was real at that
life
time.
Life was lifing.
Yeah, and it was real. Because that's like, when you look at your parent in a box and you see them go and they're not even that old. I'm 46 now. My mother was 46 when she died. So and I was like, okay, this is real.
Yeah.
And is this what I want? So if I get to 46, is this going to be my life?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, thank you. I don't know what's happening, but it's not this one.
I always tell people grief kind of shocks you into understanding how fragile life is.
Yes.
And then you just start being like, am I really living a real life? Or am I going through the phases?
The motions, yes, yeah.
And so you decide to get a divorce. At that point, what shocked you the most during that period? Was it reactions or the process of getting a divorce?
First, the reactions. The way you think, and even it's not even from people you don't know.
Yeah.
I wish it was from people I didn't know.
Yeah.
Then it's easy to absorb.
Yeah.
But the people who are closest to you, the ones you think these ones know what it is I'm talking about. An uncle told me, are you sure it's not you? You're not the way you are.
Yes, and there's even that energy.
Yes,
I experienced that same energy.
You're not the way you are. You're a bit of a...
Yeah.
So maybe it's you. A cousin told me, call me all the way from somewhere far away.
Yeah.
Now where will you be buried now that you've decided to leave? So I'm just like...
The things people are worried about.
I'm going to die, yeah. But you're worried about where I'm going to be buried. I was contagious. A lot of female friends, married friends, were now a bit scared of me because, now that you have left yours, maybe you want ours.
You're eyeing mine.
Or I don't want bad energy. The people think, there's a form of Christianity that didn't want to be around certain things because you would somehow absorb that bad, energy, that evil.
And isn't it crazy? It's the people closest to you who, in your mind, you thought you had a similar worldview.
Yes.
And then you go through a divorce and all of a sudden you're like, what?
You are the only one with that view.
Yeah.
By the way. You're a lone ranger.
Yeah.
You didn't know that.
I completely went through a period where I was just like,
who are you? Yes. And somebody even tells you just persevere.
Yeah.
Don't talk back when he talks. For me, what I did, I got a foot span. I've been massaging his feet. And I'm just like, what's wrong with these people? Am I mad? Or is everybody mad?
Yeah. Am I the problem? Yeah.
And I started believing for a while I was the problem. But I was okay with being the problem. I said to myself, you know what? I just know this is not it. And I've already seen death too much to be okay with this life. I want something more. There must be something. There must be somebody else also who has my energy.
Yeah.
And I'll find them somewhere.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, let me figure this.
Let me clean up house.
Clean this house.
That's so true, because it's funny you say that, because I went through a period where I felt like I was the only one standing on this side. And there were points where I was just like, am I the one who's, maybe I'm the one mistaking, because why is everyone on that side? Yes. But like, I think through therapy, like, thank God I was going through therapy at the time, and I was just being affirmed, like my feelings were being affirmed, you know.
Yes.
What did the process shock you? Was there any shocks in like how tedious the divorce process is?
Yes, it is so tedious. It's and expensive. Very expensive, and it's hard for women. Because there's a lot of intimidation. Already you're fearful because you don't know what it is you're getting into. And the legal space can look so daunting. Yeah. And everybody has big words. They're calling your children issues. The issues. You're just like, what do you mean? And you keep reminding them, no, it's Maria. I think you should have, no, it's Maya. But that's what they call them. Yeah. So they're all these legal terms. Yeah. You get into court, and this man is saying such bad things about you. And you're like, no, it's not true. Yes. I'm not that person. I promise. I have receipts. Yeah. That day I was in church. This other day I was pregnant. I'm cheating on you. The belly was in you. You know? And they say all manner of wicked things. And then I think because they're so used to doing it, everybody expects it from the men. And I don't know how that can be handled, because it's really not
I think it's a rejection thing, and just like normalizing rejection, because there is a place for rejection in masculinity. Yeah. It's like a human thing. Yeah. And you'll get rejections when you apply for jobs. Yeah. You'll get rejections when you apply for visas.
Exactly.
Same.
Exactly. You might even go to a club and they say, we don't serve your type.
Yes, exactly. And I think there's like an issue there that men have to navigate. But I completely agree with you on the lies and the things. And sometimes in the process you have to ask yourself, and I remember my lawyer constantly telling me, focus on what it is you want. Because these are side shows. Yes. What did you come to me seeking? Exactly. Can we focus? You know?
And that is so hard, because you're like, you want me to give you a line. I was with this man for this many years. I have these issues. Yeah. You know? So as much as you're telling me focus, where do I take all these other words? Yeah. Because listen, he's lying. He's the one who did 1, 2, 3. He's been saying this. Yeah. He's saying this, but it's he who said it to me first. You know, you feel like you're telling, but that reduces you to a point where you feel like you're telling on your sibling to your mother. Yeah. Then she said, then she looked at me after she looked at me. And nobody's interested. They're like, no. Yeah. Meanwhile, he said all these things, but you cannot address them. Yeah. You're just like, no. What is it that? And then you're all your whole life, all your heart, everything is reduced to one line. Yeah. Yeah. Shorten it a bit, just shorten it. Yeah. And you're just like, So it can be a bit crazy. And for many of us, maybe that's the first time you've been to court.
That's true, actually.
Yeah. So you've never had this issue. Yeah. So your knowledge of court and the legal system is LLO or something. Those movies where it's so sensational. Yeah. And you're getting why your life not doing much. You know, you guys on that show. He had a private investigator who came in the nick of the moment, opened the door.
That's so funny, because there's so many moments my lawyer had to keep telling me, this is not Suits. Because I was just like, we're doing pre-trials.
You know, it's not as sexy as it is. Yeah.
It's not.
It's not. When you get down there, it's a different thing. And sometimes you go into court when you've got a session, say maybe, and especially like when it comes to maintenance, because children's court is another thing. Because, you know, like they arrange, now at least it's online, but still, you'll be able to listen to other people's cases before. So, you know, like you'd go there for your matter and you're like, maybe there are 10 people before you and they're seated and you're listening to people's stories and you're like, oh my God, what is going on here? Yeah. And it's the lies that are told, you know, you struggle because you look at, and especially women, the shock for them is usually like, this is somebody I knew and I loved, and I was so vulnerable with. I was next to him. You know, I could have killed him with a biro pen. You know, he was next to me here.
what is
totally
this?
helpless.
Yeah.
Suddenly he's saying all these things about me, about my children, about who. So I think part of premarital counseling should include that aspect.
So your expectations,
Yes.
should
This
something happen, this is what I expect.
The same way we take insurance. You don't take
Yeah.
insurance because you know you're going to have something's going to go wrong.
Yeah.
But
You're hoping something doesn't go wrong, but you're preparing.
Yes.
How long did the process take you?
Oh my God, mine took me so long because I was broke. So we did it in pieces. So you go for maintenance, you come back. You start a process, you don't have money. You find the lawyer, you get another. Somebody tells you, but then you can even represent yourself, you try. So many years later, I don't want to discourage anybody. Anybody, go for it, but many years later, and it's many years, and that's how come I even managed to start wrote a book for that specific whatever. But I went through it. It was, oh my God.
Yeah, it's something.
It was,
and with the issues.
My issues.
How is, let's talk about the healing after you get divorced.
Yes.
Because I think sometimes we grapple with that period because the process of the divorce has so much noise, whether it's like family giving opinions, you're talking to your lawyer, if you have a therapist, there's a therapist there, and then all of a sudden it's silence. And it's you alone, right? And you have to do the healing. How was the healing process for you, and specifically when it comes to figuring out how to get out of the victim mindset?
Yes.
And hold yourself accountable as well. Yeah.
So I didn't have, I wouldn't say I've had a still moment until like now, 15 years. It's when I can say with my chest that, okay, I've managed that thing. You know. But for the whole 15 years, it's different things because I had these kids. So it wasn't just me. I couldn't prioritize my healing, so to speak, because you have these children. Okay, so the last two were too young; they don't care.
Yeah.
So them, for as long as they're in a warm, dry place, and there's food, we're just like, let's continue. But these first two know their father, have lived a certain life. So suddenly we've changed. I remember my son asking me, "Are we poor now?" Because now you can see we have no chair.
And that's such a loaded question. Like, how do you unpack that?
Yeah, we have no chair. We have no what. We are struggling. Whatever. Sometimes the lights are off, and so there were things going on. But so now I had to then think of these ones first. In as much as it's important to look after yourself so that you can look after the next person. Yeah. But in this case, I had to kind of, just a little bit, make sure I set them up, then have time to be able to think of myself. So it was a lot of inside work. Yeah. So as I told you, I was broke. I'd not really worked. I was married at 22, so I'd not really worked. So at 30, 31, I'm going back to the job market, entry level, with 26-year-old people. Yeah. And they have no care in the world. Their salary, they're going home to their mother's houses or their father's houses or a boyfriend's house or whatever it is, you're sharing some space. Yeah. And here I am with the same salary, with 4 kids, a maid. Yeah. You have rent, you have this, you have that, and whatnot. So I didn't even have access to therapy at that time. But I knew I had to manage myself because I had been also in spaces where I'd seen they had not really gotten divorced because I didn't have reference. So the women I'd seen around me, my aunts, my mother, my grandmother, family, friends, you'd see how it would take a toll on them. They're in a marriage that's not really a marriage. They're single, but inside that marriage. Yeah. Because for them, as long as you stayed in the matrimonial home, you are married. But your husband could go out for years. Yeah. Then one day, come back. Yeah. And life continued. Yeah. So I saw how it broke them. I saw the mental anguish. There are times you'd be with a woman and she's worn her clothes inside out. And so I was so careful because I said to myself, if I lose it, then these kids, what happens to them? Yeah. So what do I do? So for me, my healing came with writing. So I said writing. And I allowed myself to feel angry. And that's what many women don't do, because you want to be the bigger person. I say I'm not the bigger person. I'll hit you with a chair, I'll poke your eyes out, I'll set you on fire. I'm not the bigger person. Thank you. So do with it as you will. Those who need forgiveness, go to church. Yeah. Not me, I'm not Jesus. So I refused to, I didn't do that forgive and forget. I went through it. When I was angry, I'd put my kids to sleep and then go to my room, put on my music, and I'll have maybe my whiskey or my wine, and I would cry, and I would yell, and I would write furiously, and I would say some really bad things in whatever I was writing. So I'd just, let it out raw. I was not interested. And if I was angry the next day, I was angry. And that's the other thing with society. Not allowing women to express anger, which is a healthy emotion. I don't know why anger, when it's with men, it's healthy, but when it's women, it's a problem. You are bitter, you are toxic, or whatever. Yes, I'm bitter. I had fun with somebody. What do you expect me to be smiling? So I allowed myself that. The anger. I allowed myself the tears, the sorrow, the grief. Divorce is like death. It is a death of something, right? So I allowed myself the grief, and sometimes I would really grieve. And of course, now looking back, I see some decisions I made were out of heart, out of anger, and then I allowed myself to feel sorry for myself. And really baby myself like my mother would have babied me. When you just go home and say it's not working, and you just lie on her head and you'd cry, and she'd be like, that's my baby. So I allowed myself that part as well. And then I also did some small revenge. Not revenge, I'm not yet done the one I want yet. But please it's not me. It's not me, I'm saved this day. But that revenge of, when you're told, who's going to want you? What are you going to do with these children? Where are you going to go? You don't even have a career. You don't know. So my revenge was, okay, you said I couldn't do this, I'm doing it. So I got into my work, and I did a lot. Sometimes I think I did too many things. And it burnt me out, but I was just trying, this was my whatever. I'm like, you said I couldn't do whatever, you'll see me at that place. So you said I couldn't do whatever.
Also discovering different bits about yourself.
Exactly, So I managed to do, or try to do as much as I could with whatever it is I could do. I said I'm going to travel even if it's to Nakuru. And I'm going to document it. And I'm going to romanticize my life. So that helped me heal until the point where I could get therapy. And then I still discovered I had a lot to unpack. I'd held a lot. Sometimes you don't understand why somebody would treat you. And it's just like, I'm somebody's child. Why would you do this to me? So I went through all those as well. So for me, healing just took different... it was a whole journey, because then I'm healing myself. I'm trying to help my children navigate their feelings. And we've not gotten to... I always said you stop healing when you die. So we've not yet gotten to, whatever. But every day we are growing. We're getting better. And
And healing, I found even therapy, you go in because you're navigating a divorce, and then you unmask another list of other things. You're like, hey, kumbe!
I've been carrying out this.
There's a lot more to figure out in here. But it's not a destination healing. No. It's the journey.
It's the journey.
Right?
Yes.
Let's talk about identities, because I don't know if you experienced this, but I think getting out of a marriage and going through the divorce process really forced me to try and figure out who am I, right? Because women are really socialized to aspire to all of these things, like if it's motherhood, if it's marriage, how you look, all of these things. That in that process, you kind of lose the opportunity of figuring out, but me, what do I want? And who am I to begin with? Who's this chick away from all of these expectations? And you can lose yourself in a relationship or in a marriage. Did you experience that?
Yes. When I got out of my marriage, I didn't even know what I wanted to do when I grew up. You start remembering.
Yes.
Just like, what
was I saying in primary school?
And somebody made a joke. You even look for a child and ask him, what do you want to do? Just to get an idea.
What's the scene like?
What are people doing these days? What do they want to be these days?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was also at that point.
Yeah.
And that's why I did so many things. So I've always loved to write. But in the process, I forgot that writing. But then I got the writing back, but then now I was using it to heal as an escape. So I was writing, I was trying to document something, because remember I said I didn't have references. So I'm thinking, okay, somebody might come behind me who needs a reference.
Yeah.
Then you will be able to at least know that I'm not crazy for feeling this.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy for wanting this. I'm not crazy for, doing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
So, but I felt at some point now I was writing as a chore, not really like it's what I really wanted to do. And everything I was doing else outside that was to survive. So you get to a point you're like, I don't want to survive. What is it I was put here to do exactly? Because if I can find that, and I know the universe will sort me out.
Yeah.
But you see, what happens is, and why many women will not even remember what it is they wanted to do is because you're thrown out, and the financial issue is usually the biggest part of it. So you're trying to navigate that.
Yeah.
So you're just doing any work.
To survive.
To survive.
Yeah.
And so you lose, and I think those are some of the things we don't talk about that divorce takes away from you, is you lose your dreams. You can no longer dream. You know, the way you'd sit down and just say, let me go to wherever and sit and just think. Because the minute you close your eyes, you remember, oh shit, I've not paid school fees. I told the accountant yesterday and I've not got it. Yeah, so if you can get to the point, if you have enough support to know that dream again, and whatever it is you're dreaming about, you'll be carried through that dream. Yeah. So so it's not easy to remember. I've just remembered all these things in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Is when I've said, baby, I don't like doing this. Because you're doing all this business, you have this side gig and that, and it becomes your identity.
Yeah.
I work for, on top of that, I have I do. And people are like, hey, you're a good woman, you're working. But it got to a point a few years ago when it all fell apart. And now I was forced to remember, who are you? Why are you here? And shutting down the noise of okay, if you start this, then how do you pay your bills? If you start this, then what do people think? They'll think you're a failure. You're not. But then somebody said that to me. Yeah, she doesn't work. This woman, she left her husband. She's fortunate she doesn't work, and she just enjoys life. Her work is drinking and partying.
That sounds like a very bitter person. That's a them problem. They want that.
They want that. And for a minute, I was taken aback, and I was like, oh shit, I don't work. Maybe I should look for a job.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, check, you're selling books. You work. Yeah, you do.
And what looks different, it can look different.
Yes.
It doesn't have to look like a 9 to 5 suit, whatever.
Yeah. So then I realized, okay, so I had to get back. But remember how many women are going through that and being told, okay, now you have left, don't work.
Yeah.
And that work now is harassing you. You're looking for any work just to show the world that, okay, even if I left my marriage,
I'm okay.
Can't you people see? Yeah, I'm doing the right thing.
Oh my God. And I think identity, for me, it's even like small things. So I was recently telling a friend how this is my first time living alone. And for many women, it's the case because traditionally the man comes to get you from your parents' home, right? Yes. Now, in your parents' home, when you arrived, you found a way things were being done. So, for example, breakfast. Breakfast was, you found a system, right?
So you woke up in the morning and
this is what was made. And on Sundays, maybe there was a bit of change, but that's what it was. When you move into a marriage, you probably carry some things from what you found in your parents' house.
Yes.
And I'm still sticking with this breakfast example.
Yes. He brings his things.
And he brings his things. You're very accommodating. He really likes yogurt with this.
Yes,
it's there, right?
Yeah.
And I was telling my friends, it hit me just a couple of weeks ago. I was like, yeah, I actually like ABCD for breakfast. And then I was like, why am I only finding this out now when I'm 36? I was like, have I not been eating breakfast?
But you've been doing everything for somebody.
Yes. And so then I was like, wow, this is a journey of you're finding out like small, big things about yourself.
Yes. Even how you like the bed made.
Yes.
What time you wake up.
Or if you like it made.
What time you shower. If you shower over the weekend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just so, for me, that learning has just been like, wow, we really are like groomed.
Yes. And
out of who we are.
Especially for girls.
Yeah.
I always say the best time to be a girl is before maybe 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
Because you're just carefree. You don't care. Nobody really bothers you. You walk around, you wander around daydreaming about stupid things.
Yeah.
You're just in your own
Yeah.
world. Then one day, suddenly they start telling you, sit properly.
Yeah.
Put on this dress, Uncle so-and-so is coming.
Yeah.
And you're just like, it becomes strange. Now, suddenly, a good girl is the one that does this.
Come cook, short.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't be sleeping until this time. Only pregnant people and sick people sleep until this time. You can't do this. So suddenly, it's whatever. Sometimes even our mothers did it without even realizing because it happened to them. So they're just passing it down. They're passing down their trauma. Oh, you must learn how to cook. If you go to your husband's house and you don't know how to cook, they'll say you're stupid, you're lazy like your mother. I'm not lazy. So learn how to cook, learn how to do this, learn how to do this.
Because even if you look at our cultures, the Luo term for getting married is you've gone to cook.
Yes.
When you translate it,
yes,
you've gone to cook.
Yes. Yeah. Go cook.
So there's no space for identity there,
no.
you know?
The only thing I like about it is they still maintain where you're from.
Yeah.
They'll never call you anything else. You're that from that place. Yeah. Game.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I like about it is that at least they don't allow you to forget you're not
where
theirs.
You're from.
I'm from somebody else's place. Yeah.
Let's jump into something that's related to your most recent book, Dating After Divorce.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which again, like when you're going through it, you have all of this shame because people are like, nobody wants to touch somebody who's divorced, all of these things, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
What was dating like after your divorce?
So mine was very interesting.
Yeah.
So I have these 4 kids. I'm still breastfeeding my baby. I have been told there's nobody who will want to be with all my 4 children. And I started dating immediately.
Wasting no time.
I jumped from one to the next. So I started, but he was a friend. So he was a friend, and I was very clear from the beginning.
Yeah.
I want adult companionship, but I don't want to mix it with my kids. So I have this dual life, so to speak. So I'm a mom on this side, I'm a girlfriend on this side.
Yeah.
So you know of the children, but you're not known to the children.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and I think that helped me a bit. I was never in the space that there are no men. My mother was always told us men are there. There'll always be a man. It doesn't matter what type. And my father said the same thing. My father was like, just a man. Even that one at the case. And that it was never a serious thing. So for me, I didn't take that aspect seriously because I'd already been told it's whatever. And then immediately I leave this one and I'm fighting whatever. There's this man who thinks I'm very beautiful with my breastfeeding breasts and my, you used to have like a soft belly. I said, okay, let's move. Yeah. So for me, it wasn't really a problem. Say, like, for example, getting somebody.
Yeah.
Now, the issue was the people around me. And then there are those men also who want to humble you. So there are men and women who want to humble you. And then there are people and their mates and their experiences that they want to dress you.
Yeah.
So you find a situation where somebody is not, and I don't even want to say it in an arrogant way, but if that's how it comes out, that's how it has to go. But you can find somebody who, this is not where you need to be. This is not the man you need to be with. Yeah. And you sometimes you tell somebody, explain to somebody like, listen, dude, me I have this 4 kids. I'm trying to do this business. I'm trying to do whatever. I can't be with a man who thinks smoking weed is fun and drinking all day and that's the story. Oh, we drank yesterday from morning to evening. That's not my life. I'm not there. Yeah. So I'm trying to see how I can travel. I want to travel. Whatever the travel you want to do is to the bar and back to your house. So I can't be in that situation. But then this person feels like, oh, you're feeling good and you have 4 children. Yes, I'm not refused. I'm told you I have 4 children. You're not always telling me yes. I was there for all those, but oh, you're feeling good, such women, did you never get what, I don't know what, you're a gold digger. So you get a lot of that. And if you're not careful, you might succumb to it because it's a lot. And they tell you everywhere. They tell you, since I started speaking out, I've been writing for long, and sometimes there are people have opportunities to give feedback.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's nothing they don't tell you. You're an old, bitter, haggard woman. You're kicking other girls because what am I lying to your girls about? Why are you so worried?
And also, if you don't agree with me,
it's okay. Write another post. Saying how old women and haggard ones.
Yeah.
So why are you feeling some kind of way?
Yeah.
So, but the truth of the matter is, when you go out there are men and women, depending on wherever it is you arrive, that want you for you and don't care whether you come with crocodiles, hyenas, and snakes. Because like, I'll take all that and I'm happy to see where this goes. Yeah. So a lot of the times I think women limit themselves because of what you've had. So you go out there already with with something. And so because you already decided nobody can want me, then you look for all the red flags.
Yeah.
And those are the ones you plant yourself because you're just like, at least.
Yeah.
At least.
And then you overperform because you're like, I'm not enough.
Yes.
I have to do all these other things.
So you'll buy him the drinks.
Yeah.
And how many women do that? You'll buy him drinks, you'll ask him out, you'll pay for the room, you want to pay his rent. Every day at lunchtime, you've organized lunch to go to his office.
Yeah.
You're just like a monkey. All the time, man, he says he doesn't like women who do this. You've changed. Now he likes women with weaves you've put on. Because you're thinking, how can he want me anyway? And there are certain men who are not good people, and they know that, and they prey on such women. So you find, and a lot of women in that category go through financial abuse. So this person is getting you into debt. He's selling your things. How many women have you had? The guy sold her property. She didn't know. You know it was sold. He's taken a loan against some of your things. Your car is towed the next day because he took what from a Shylock. Like something is always happening to you. But there is nothing. You are still that girl that you are 21. I'm sorry, I don't care what anybody says. Even if you are a size 6 then and now you're 24, you're still that girl. You're still that girl. Now you have, I know a woman who has 7 children and she dates like she's 24.
Yeah.
So
as she should.
Yeah. So all these stories are just that.
Because it can be very dangerous if you think less of yourself when you get back into the dating pool.
You get yourself in a lot of trouble.
And I think it's also the way people look at divorce as like, you have failed. And I'm always like, after going through my experience, if any woman tells me, oh, I just got divorced, my first word is congratulations. Because I'm like, you chose yourself.
Thank you.
Right?
Yes.
Just to kind of like start making you think differently.
Yeah.
And when it comes to relationships and love, like what changed in terms of like definitions or even what you want?
Yeah.
Because I found like what I thought I wanted was actually what society defines.
Wanted for you.
Yeah. Even just like how I want a man to behave in a relationship. I found like these are those set of rules that now we even see on social media. He must do that. And I was like, actually, I don't like that one. Like, can we remove that?
We're changing that.
I may not want you in my face all the time.
Thank you.
Which is something you're socialized to think is what's normal. You know what I mean? So what changed for you in terms of love and relationships?
First, I wanted to appear as myself, completely as myself. Because my first relationship, which happened to be my marriage, I didn't appear as myself. I appeared as everything I was told I was supposed to do. I don't like domestic work.
Yeah.
I can cook, yes, I can clean. Sometimes I do.
Yeah.
But it's not something I wake up to do. And today I feel I'm going to clean. I've woken up, I want to make 25 chapatis. Doesn't happen. Something might be wrong, check on me. So that's not me. I'm very vocal. I like to explore mentally, sit down and have debates, whatever. But then you find that you're told, okay, don't do that because, his ego is fragile. And now he's going to look for another woman. And everything was always, if you don't do that, she'll look for another woman. Now you see, if you don't cook, she'll get another woman. If you don't, you'll get it. And I did all those things. I still got another one. So
it doesn't work.
I got 1, 2, 3, maybe 5, maybe 6. So I'm like, maybe this time I appear as myself. I said, look, this is me. Yeah, yeah. If and I'm happy to say who I am, and I'm happy for you to say this is not for me, and let's leave each other at that point. I'm no longer trying to convince you with PowerPoint. But you see, even if I don't cook, I know how to order. You see, even ordering food,
I can get someone
to cook. I can instruct them. I'm not interested in all those things. I'm not going to lie to you that if you say something and I'm going to accept it, because if it doesn't make sense to me, it just doesn't make sense. So either you explain it further, or we agree that this doesn't make sense. Let's look at it another way.
Yeah.
So I'm no longer trying to be what I'm not. I'm not, and I'm also expecting the person to appear as they are. I'm also not, though you're saying, like a lot of people have the rules and whatnot. I'm happy to make my own rules and it's ours. It doesn't have to look good to anybody else. It doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. But we can sit down and say, this is how we are doing our thing.
And it serves us.
It serves us and it makes sense to us. So whatever it is somebody else has a problem with, they just have to deal with their own problem. So when you've been through a divorce, you realize,
and you're like, I followed society's rules. And
it got in such a worse place. And then it looks like time wasted. Because imagine all these years, I wasn't me. And you feel like telling that person, you didn't even know the real. My friend, had you met me in my element? I don't even have looked at you. So. And it's such a blessing to be in a space that you can be yourself. Because I don't have to remember stuff. I don't have to, you can wake up at 11. And nobody's asking, what type of woman wakes up at 11? They're not to make breakfast. That type of, and I can drink wine until midnight and we can be talking about.
Life is like karma, and like a relationship can be a safe place. For the people in it. It doesn't have to make sense to anybody outside, right?
Yeah, it doesn't.
And so let's get into your writing. And I think we share that because even for me, writing was and has always been the way I make sense of heavy feelings, right? And you stayed writing throughout your divorce process. Can we start with the most recent book first? Because the title is the one that got me. So your fourth book, what is it titled?
Okay, I'm healed. Send me another man. Dating intentionally after divorce.
So what is this fourth book about?
So as I've said multiple times, I didn't have reference. So I went through it trying to figure it out on my own. And of course I made some mistakes. And some things I think I got right. And then in the process also found one or two people who'd been through it. And so I collected all those experiences and then tried to put like a guide of sorts, for you. So a lot of dating books is always what you should do to attract a partner. But now we are saying what you should do to pick, because you attract. You attract. Let nobody cheat you that it's hard to attract. No, you attract. It's you either who sees them or you don't. Then you decide who you entertain. So based on how healed you are or what part of the journey you are in, you will pick somebody. So you might be thinking, I always attract this type of man. No, you always pick. You're always entertaining, because 5 men will say hi. And then you look for what is familiar. Number 4 and number 2. I like the way you neglect me. I like the way you blue tick me. Because that's familiar to me. So we're saying, okay, let's go back. Let's start. Okay, so now it's over. The marriage is over. You thought it was happily ever after. Kumbe happily ever after has an expiration date. It's 10th of July. It's done. And so you're thinking, what next? So many people will either go into depression, and whatever it is you have to deal with. And we're saying, like, be conscious. We have that ability to be falling apart, but still have part of yourself seeing. So you must really empower that part that will pull you up. So how does that look like? It looks like therapy. If you don't have therapy, we have these books. And in this day and age, there's a lot of resources. Go to TikTok and look for that that side of TikTok.
Yeah.
You'll find it and you'll get people who will help you. So actively seek and advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
Because nobody can advocate for you like you can.
Yeah.
And even if it feels ridiculous, if that's what you need, that's what you need.
Yeah.
Say it, yeah? And you'll find somebody who will help you, get out of that place. Then we're looking at different things. So we're looking at your friends, your girl group. We are in a situation or an age where it's girl for girl, she for she, it's beautiful, but it can also be very toxic if you're not careful. Yeah. So sometimes you are with the girl who's harassing you the most, who's not your friend, but because you're so stuck on for girls, whatever, you don't hold her accountable, and she's messing you up. She's playing with your self-esteem, sometimes even putting you in danger, putting your life in danger. So a lot of us were not taught this because of the way we are socialized. Women came from a very interesting place. They were first bad people because they ate the fruit, and then they brought us here. And then now we struggle to be very good. So now we must just be good. There's nothing else we are but good people. So even when somebody's not good to you because she's a woman,
you just have to be good.
She's good. Yeah, let's just figure it out. We are each other's best everything. Let's just hold
Things
on.
end, man.
Things end. Yes. So also teaching women how to manage that aspect. Then you're dating and you have your mothering, you have these kids. How does that look like? I give the example of my kids. When I left my marriage, I had to let go of my maid then because of loyalty issues.
Yeah. I love how you put it. Loyalty issues.
Didn't know where
we understand.
She didn't understand where she was. Yeah, so and then so there was a lot of people leaving us. So most of the time that we were spending time alone, and they were feeling people who are leaving us. So even firing a maid would affect them some kind of way. So I that's why I made a conscious decision that until I'm sure of the man that is going to be in my life, I can't introduce men to these kids. Because then what happens? I keep traumatizing them.
Yeah.
So
when
every
they
time,
leave.
because this man might be a 2-month guy, can be a 1-week guy, can be, how are you going to know? Because there are people who can say anything you want to hear.
Yeah.
So I made that conscious decision that, okay, if it's just a friend, a male friend, then that's okay. But if it's an intimate partner, then you cannot meet my kids until I know what this looks like, because I'm trying to protect those children. So I'm not dating like I would date if I was maybe 22, single, no kids. So this one is different, and it's creative, because there are times I think until the other days when my kids realized, oh, maybe this one can have a boyfriend. It didn't occur to them. Because I'd be like, oh, I'm going to Naivasha for marketing this weekend. So I'm like,
so marketing is Mark.
Marketing, yes. And they have to pass a supermarket to get vegetables. He said, we bought this along the way. These cabbages. So sometimes you become creative, because you can't come to my house. Yeah, because what are we going to do with these kids? And for me also, I wanted a safe space for my children where they can just be kids. Because you don't want a situation where you wake up in the morning and there's this man in his boxers and he's now taking control of the TV, and it's Saturday.
This is a safe place. This is the home for the kids.
So it's that type of thing where you really think consciously about how does dating look for you, because you have these children, depending on at what age they are in. There are very many sad stories where you bring somebody, you think this man is in love with you, but he's eyeing your children. So there's a lot. People are people, so you cannot move around naive. You must really have your eyes open, have your feelers out. You must be very conscious about it. And then we talk about society. What does society look like? You got divorced, you didn't kill somebody. So people should not be treating you like a leper.
And if they do, you can stay away from those spaces.
And you must also fight for yourself. You can't just be a pushover. You're not a victim. And that victimhood, I have a problem, such a problem with victimhood, because it keeps you in a certain space. And then if you're in that certain space, you keep making the same mistakes. So you keep picking the same people around you. And with divorce, people think divorce, you only leave them. And there's so many people who leave you after your divorce. There's so
That
many
was like
people.
a reality
Yes.
check for me.
Yeah,
like,
you're
so
living this
there's
life.
so many relationships dying at the same time,
yes,
right?
And sometimes it's not even a relationship that you met through. It's even just yours.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful not to be a victim, because then you'll start picking people, the same people around you, and you keep wondering why this divorce is such a curse. Oh, I just keep spiraling. Nobody's supporting me. But it's because you are a victim.
Yeah.
So taking control of your life, taking ownership in that relationship, gives you some power.
Yeah.
Because at least I did something. I was a partner in this relationship. I was not a doormat. So take control of that. Feel angry. It's a healthy emotion.
Do you know, after my divorce, I had like an emotion, maybe like a mental breakdown, or like or physical, everything just stopped working, like physical and whatever. And I ended up going to see this incredible doctor who was on season 1, Dr. Sally. And her prescription that day, one of them was like, get angry more often.
Yes.
And she literally told me, I want to see you break plates. Like, I want to hear that you have been arrested.
Yes. Screaming somewhere.
You
people
actually got the anger out.
Yes.
And that really, because it actually can affect your physical health if you're not expressing your anger.
But there is a lot of research now and papers written on it that women get a lot of autoimmune diseases because we don't express anger, and we are expected to be the people in society that just absorb things.
Exactly.
That's why I always tell people, no, if you're looking for forgiveness,
try Jesus.
Try Jesus, not me. So it's very important for women that they know that they can, and they allow themselves to. So you're not a bad person, you're a human being. I say a lot of this, don't strive to be a man, a good man, not a good woman. Which means, like the way men, when you see a good man, when somebody tells you he's a good man, that man can get angry. And people tell that he's a good man, but he has a small temper. But after that, he's okay. That's okay for the man. Actually, he's a good man. He's assertive. He's aggressive. No, that's a good man. But a good woman is docile.
Has no boundaries.
And the thing that woman is so good. And even if you find her drinking tea and it's the last cup, she'll give you. If she has that one dress, she will give you. She will eat. There are 4 pieces of meat and you are 5 people. She will give you people. I tell you, when I need eat that meat. The others can share. So strive to be like a good man. Whatever they give about a good man, that's what you should be. Don't try to be a good woman. And if then they don't want you to be a good man, then you just be a mannerless and a bad woman.
Exactly.
You're okay.
And so we have a copy of the book here.
Yes.
It's absolute, and I love. Oh my God! I just saw the lacy underwear.
Yes. Good women have sex.
And great sex.
And great sex. Yes.
And the wine. Oh, this is so you. This is wonderful. Okay, I'm healed now. Send me another man. Oh my goodness. Okay, so where is this book available?
At the Nuria bookshop. So they're wonderful, by the way. So they deliver anywhere. Yes.
And how much is this book going for?
2,000 shillings.
2,000 shillings.
Yes.
So we're going to put a link in the description so that you can grab yourself a copy of this book. After listening to Felgonah, like you definitely. But I can see here, author of Things I Wish They Told Me. So is that, what is book number 3?
So Things I Wish They Told Me, How to Enjoy a Relationship with an African Man,
is
an ebook.
God. Okay. We just have to say that title again. Things I Wish They Told Me, How to Enjoy a Relationship with an African Man.
Yes.
So it's an ebook. We're going to put the link as well. That one, I would think, explores cultural issues as well?
It does.
Okay.
It does. Because we have, a lot of the time, African women have been tied down by culture. We're told, it's culture, it's tradition, we've always done it this way. But culture is not static. Yeah. So, and, we have been sitting down on our power. We are the keepers of culture. Who told you about your culture? It's your mother. So I'll change the culture and start telling my children what works for us now. Yes. What works now, and we change the culture. So it's basically telling women, okay, we're not going to we're going to have a relationship, yes, but it's not based on your whims. It's not based on your rules.
Yeah.
Because I'm here and I want to enjoy this thing, please. Yeah. So we're both going to enjoy it.
That and also an author of Adelle is dating in Nairobi.
Yes.
Hey, dating in Nairobi. I feel like
Let me tell you. Let me tell you. If you can date in Nairobi.
I feel like Nairobi and Lagos. If you can conquer those two, I think
nothing can bring you down. Nothing can bring you down.
So is that one fictional or is that based on your experience?
It's based on my experience and a couple of others.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that one is here.
Yes. It's a comic strip.
Oh, it's a comic strip.
Yes.
It's so incredible.
Yeah. So it's different collection of comics of my dating in Nairobi.
Oh my goodness, this is
and others.
Oh, this is wonderful. I have to get this. Because also I'm seeing like the four, are they four? Yeah, the four men around her.
The different types.
Is this like an older one?
Yeah, they're the older. I remember I told you, you get all of them. Short, young, old, fat, thin.
All of them.
Stupid, intelligent, they're all there.
I love this for you. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And is this also available at Nuria?
Yes, it's also available at Nuria Bookshop.
Okay, and so this particular one goes for how much?
1,000 shillings.
1,000 shillings.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to put all the links in the description so that you can grab yourself a copy. I'm just so proud of you.
Thank you.
Like, honestly, congratulations for the books.
Sana.
Like, 4 books is no small feat.
No, thank you.
And also I think there's so much power in you sharing your story. Mm-hmm. It's infectious. Like, you actually are fueling the rest of us who are on a similar journey.
Thank you.
That is just so kind of you to do.
Asante sana, yes.
So as we close this episode, if there is a woman watching this who is in a relationship or a marriage that she's like, hey, I think I need to get out of this, but there's that fear or you don't know where to begin, what would you tell that woman?
Yeah. So first of all, you've reached here.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
You've got here. It might look like fear. It might look like confusion. But what it is really, when you think about it, is shame.
Oh,
it's
God.
shame. Yeah. So you're feeling embarrassed and you don't know how you're going to manage the shame out there. But they're going to shame us, my friend.
Yeah.
As women, if you've not yet gotten used to shame.
Yeah.
Or people trying to shame you, because that's the only weapon they have.
Yeah.
It's shame. What are you going to do? You are failed. You are second-hand goods. Women, when they reach that age, they're old.
Yeah.
Nobody can want them. They're no use.
Yeah.
You should have made better decisions when you are 25.
Yeah.
Or when you are 20. But you're living.
Yeah.
Part of living is falling and rising. Somebody said the only time the line is straight like this is when you're dead. So as long as you're alive, you see the way right now you are in shame and in fear, a time is coming when you'll be up and you'll think everything will work.
Yeah.
And you'll have conquered something and you'll be so excited. Yeah. But just know, again, you'll come down and maybe you'll have lost something or you'd have remembered something or burn out or, a child has done this or whatever. And then again, you'll come up. Yeah. So this is, you're down. I'll come back up, conquer the shame. Everybody's going to try and shame you. Yeah. And like this episode, this season for Mannerless Women. You have to just be a mannerless woman. Yeah. There's no life like a mannerless woman's life. Yeah. A bad woman, bad girls. That's the only way to live. Yeah. So be your biggest advocate. Whatever it is you're going to look for, whatever decision you decide to make. You can decide to go for therapy, maybe, and it starts working, the marriage. Again, women think that because you're divorced, you want everybody to divorce. I'm not here trying. This is not my mission. I'm not an evangelist. So I'm divorced. Yeah. So it might work. Yeah. But what I'd say, the biggest thing is be your biggest advocate. Whatever it is you want, you must advocate for yourself. Yeah. Take a picture of yourself as a young girl, as a girl. I learned this summer. Take a picture of yourself as a young girl and look at that girl. You looking at that girl and deciding for that girl what's next. That would help you. So advocate for that girl. Yeah.
That is so incredible. It's been so great meeting you and having you on the show. Like you really do exude that mannerless energy in a very powerful way.
Thank you.
And this was like the best way for us to start off season 2 of For Mannerless Women. Thank you so much for the support you gave us in season 1. If you haven't watched that, make sure you go and check that out. But in the meantime, if you loved this episode, like it, subscribe to the channel, and also share it with all the mannerless or almost mannerless women in your life. And we'll catch you next week for another episode.